Welcome to my first YouTube video on my automated ammunition factory. And to start off with, I have heard a lot of people say that if you're going to buy materials to make ammunition, you might just as well buy the ammunition. And I tend to agree with that. Excuse me. But I scrounge all my materials. So to start off with, we bring them in this doorway and we dump them right into this hopper. From there, they all get sorted. You come around to the other side, there's a vacuum hopper hooked to this. And it will suck out the contents and go down the conveyor, and they all go up the lift to the second floor, where I have 6 sorters, as you need 6 ingredients to make all the ammo. I'm on a PS4, so I have no mods, and I started making this video once already and got a low battery warning, so I started off with a bang. Sorted into oil, lead, copper, fertilizer, steel, and plastic. And anything that does not contain one of those ingredients goes off the end of the conveyor belt down onto the conveyor belt below it, and there's a storage container back there in which you take the ingredients and put them back into the settlement workbench.
What I wouldn't give for
Now, when you get ready to make ammunition, these are the hoppers that have the ingredients, and you open only the hoppers you need depending on what ammunition you are making. It drops on the conveyor belt, comes around to the ammo plant, and then on the other side of the ammo plant we also have a laser tripwire to count how many boxes you've made, and they go into this storage here. That's where you get to take your ammo. When you're done making ammo, you shut the stuff down, and then you can vacuum out the plant. Since we're using scrounged ingredients rather than shipments of ingredients, we may end up with gears and springs and all kinds of other stuff in here. Or for an example, if you notice when we were upstairs, oil was my first hopper, and that's because my first sorter, excuse me. That's because a lot of oil is in steel containers. So if I put the steel sorter prior to the oil sorter, I might not get the oil. I'll only get the oil that's in aluminum containers. And so if you use the oil but you don't use the steel, you'll have steel in here, you may have some leftover fertilizer, you may have springs, you may have gears, you may have all kinds of things. So you suck them back out with this vacuum hopper, and they go right back to where it started in this storage container. Then you can turn the sorting line back on. It goes back upstairs. The ingredients for ammunition get sorted back into the hoppers, and then anything that falls off the end again goes into that container over there, and that will be put back into the settlement workbench. And I put in an ammo workbench, or a weapons workbench, excuse me, so that you can put it back in right here. And also, if you want to pick up pipe rifles, for example, which I usually don't pick up because they weigh too much for their value, but they do have copper. And if it's kind of a slow day, I'll pick up a bunch of pipe rifles so that I can scrap them right here at the weapons workbench because the machine will not scrap them. So you scrap them at the workbench and get the copper out of them, and put that into here to dump into the copper hopper. Won't be able to get that out of my head. The copper hopper. Now, we'll go into, this is the main control room, and I can pretty much run the entire plant right from here other than putting the ingredients in that first hopper. And since this is a PS4 and it has a limited recording time before we actually start making any ammunition, I'm going to pause this and restart the video so that we can link them together. Okay, here we are in my office with my nice little office chair. And these are all the main controls for the machinery. And this wall is all controls for the hoppers. First thing we would do is decide what we're going to make, so we'll go to the terminal. And we go to the ammunition plant control. Let's make some 2mm electromagnetic cartridges for the Gauss rifle. Now, see, everything is off. The main power is on. This is for the ammo plant and the conveyors. So first we'll turn that on. That should start that line. Then you go over here and you find the ammunition you want to make. 2mm electromagnetic cartridge. You turn that on. And if you look, only the hoppers that are needed, these two on the end, do not open. I only need those 4 ingredients to make this ammo. And as it comes around, once you have enough in the actual ammo plant, it will start producing ammo. Now there is a yellow light out there right over it that shows that it's on, but it's hard to tell whether the thing's on or off from here. I found that didn't work as well as I expected it to. And here's the counter. Once it starts making some, we'll see that moving. Now this is one of the oddballs. It takes 3, I believe it's 3 copper and like 1 fertilizer, so we get a bunch of stuff in there, but we've already made 1. Didn't even see the machine move.
The next person that asks me to shag is getting a well-placed cook. You get one there.
Oh, as you can see, it is manufacturing, and we're up to 3 cartridges now. Now we'll go over and we'll shut down the hopper just so we don't make this video too long. And as you look and see, all the hoppers have closed. And wait for the rest of the ingredients to get into the plant. I have it set up so that when you turn the plant on, it sends power to the hopper switches so that you don't open the hopper switches without the conveyor running. I have a great big pile of junk all over the floor. And it's also connected to the ammo plant, so everything will run in. And now we've made 6. So we'll shut the plant down. Now we'll go and show you. Now I wouldn't be doing all this running back and forth if I wasn't showing what was going on. You see, there's gas canisters. There's some gas canisters in there because that would be the oil, and it only needed one oil for every 3 copper. So we have a copper left over. We have 2 oil left over. We have some fertilizer left over. We have some lead. We have a couple of pencils. We have some steel, which is probably from the oil containers that it actually used. We even have some wood. Not really sure what that came from, but it was an ingredient in something that we used. So those are all the things that are left over. So it does not, you don't lose the steel when you take the oil out of a steel container or whatever else was used to get that steel. And now you go back inside. I would have stayed right here until it was done. Turn on the vacuum, and it'll start vacuuming it out of there. As you can see, it's coming out. And since it is coming out, we'll go ahead and turn on the sorter. That turns on the sorting line with the conveyors and the sorters upstairs, as well as the vacuum hopper down here. All these ingredients that are going in are going to get sent right back upstairs, and all the fertilizer and stuff that was left over because we stopped it short will be put back into their containers, and the wood and the other stuff will end up down at the other end, at that far end, in that hopper, meant to store, to be put back into the community storage. Now these lifts can be a pain in the neck at times. See, stuff can jam up a little bit like this. You can just reach in, hold down the X button to grab it, and they kind of fall over and then they come out. Sometimes there are things that go through here a lot better than others. Yeah, that wood in there kind of messes everything up. But sometimes it works perfectly, other times it does jam up. You have to keep your eye on it. And as you can see, this is now empty. And the ammo plant's now empty. And we have 60 electromagnetic cartridges. Then I can just leave this running for now. As I say, some things do create headaches. See, I just accidentally took the oil out of this sorter, so I got to put that back. Oh, once everything has gotten sorted, then you just come down here and turn the sorter off, and you're done. And that's all there is to basically the ammo plant. What I did add, say if your settlement had just been attacked and you need to repair, say, your turrets, and you don't happen to have any copper, that's what these bottom switches are for. You go up here, turn on the ammo plant, which turns on the conveyor belts. But instead of the vacuum, turn on the diverter. Now the diverter sends everything down the other conveyor belt into that container down there. So then we can open our copper hopper. you see, the copper is the only one that opened. And you can change the time limit that this on your terminal on how quickly those come out of the hopper. Try not to have them come out too fast because they sometimes can jam up. And we'll just do a few just for a demonstration. So we'll shut the hopper down and then leave the other running. And as you can see, the copper gets diverted.
Been too long since I picked a fight.
And it comes down here and goes into this container. So if you needed the copper in your settlement, all you would do is go here, transfer copper to you, go over here, go to your junk, and transfer the copper into the weapons workbench, and it's back right in the settlement, ready to be used over. And then I gotta go fix my mistake where I took the oil out of here, the oil back in, so that'll sort properly. And that's how it works. I hope this was informative. Once everything's done, shut all these things off. And we're back ready for whatever we want to do next time. And thanks for watching. I hope you, being my first one, I was a little nervous doing it. I hope it comes out alright. And that's my automated ammo plant. I did want to add one note that if people are interested, I may do a tips and tricks on some of the things that I ran into while I was building this that I didn't know and I had never heard before. And some things that I did know, but other people may not. So hopefully, if this works out all right, I'll do a follow-up. Here's a little interesting tidbit for you. See here, there's an oil can. Ordinary old oil can. It's a full oil can. It has 4 oil. This is a used oil can. Looks the same, different color, but that has 1 oil. So that one has 1 oil, the other one has 4. Now I got a stupid autosave going on. Okay, so we'll take the oil, and we'll take this oil. Now we'll go into our, you'll see the magic of Bethesda at work. Here's our junk. There's a regular oil can, has 4 oil and 1 aluminum. The used oil can, after you've used 3 of the oil, becomes 1 oil and 1 steel. The aluminum can turns into a steel can once you use oil. God, Bethesda doesn't make airplanes. And now you know why I'm not a stand-up comic. Well, anyway, thanks for watching.